it's Doris with All the Books, and I'm here with my very last set of questions for my Booktube birthday Q&A. And I was trying to get this filmed before the sun went down, but apparently there's not much sun out there to begin with. What can you do with winter? First question, chapter 32 asks, she said, happy Booktube anniversary. Thank you so much. But she asked, is there a book out there that isn't required reading for school that you think should be? And I think I answered this in a previous question, so check my other two videos. Curious, what's the best change in your life due to your Booktube channel, and the worst? I am just having a blast. I was needing a new hobby. I like to change hobbies every couple years, I have discovered. I just like the challenge of learning new things, and yeah, it really interests me. So I'm having a blast. I would say I really love the high quality book recommendations. Like, I hardly ever read anything horrible anymore because there's so many great books recommended on Booktube, and I just love the community atmosphere. It's very motivating and just fun for me. So yeah, I'm having a great time. I can't really think of any negatives at the moment. It's all fresh and new still, just a year, but I'm loving it. And I'm careful not to overtax myself, I will say, because having hobbies in the past that I've turned into part-time jobs, I don't want to do that with this hobby. So yeah, I don't try too hard. Maybe that's obvious too, but anyway. Kristen's Library. You get to know people so much better. Oh, I love Q&As. You get to know people so much better. Yeah, I do too. My question is, what's your favorite thing about Christmas? Wow, Christmas. My favorite thing is obviously being off work for 2 weeks as a public school teacher. That's just fabulous. I love the Christmas lights. My son and I, I've got hair. My son and I were just sitting in the living room. It's so cozy now that I've got the lights on the mantle, and we got lights on the wall and lights on our Christmas tree, and it just, oh, it's so nice. And then we're going to Florida to see the family next week, and that'll just be awesome. We have a big New Year's Eve Christmas thing with all the grandkids, and oh, it's just lovely. And Christmas cookies. I did a Christmas cookie exchange last weekend, and we've been eating on those all week. And then I had friends over last night, and they brought a big platter of mixed cookies, home baked, and so yeah, Christmas is nice. Bree Hill. My goal is to one day be a teacher. Yeah, you be enjoying this Christmas vacation too. What advice do you have for someone with the end goal of teaching in mind? So I would say no. Let me read all the questions here so I don't like duplicate myself. So your advice, what do you teach? What do you have the most fun teaching within your subject of teaching? Okay, so that's all the teacher questions. So my advice would be to know what branch of education you want to go into. So do you love the age? Like, do you love younger kids? Or do you love the academics of it? Because if you love the intellectual aspect, you're going to want to go into high school or even beyond. So I love subject matter. My first degree was in biology. I was fascinated with science. I obviously love literature, and I'm really interested in history more and more lately. So I'm informational driven. So while I love kids and I get along fabulously with them, I find I'm best suited to the high school level intellectually. So I find that very stimulating. And middle school's pretty fun too, actually, but I really like the high school a lot, and I get along great with teenagers. And the other thing, you know, there's obviously other fields outside of mainstream classroom setting that you think of typically. So I'm an ESL teacher, so I teach English as a second language. So I work with kids a lot in small groups and in one-on-one situations, and it is awesome. I really love it. And it's, you know, I find a lot of teachers are intimidated by the thought of teaching kids that don't speak English, but it's not that big a deal. Most of my kids are actually fluent orally, but just need help with reading and writing. So there's that. But communication, you know, you just communicate with people. So it's a lot of fun. But there's that. There's special ed, which is another big field, helping kids one-on-one. Yeah. And one bit of advice too is be prepared for the paperwork, because that's the negative of education these days. Here in the States, we have become so standardized, test driven. It's every year it gets worse. These last 5 years have been horrendous. We just test the kids all day, every day, it feels like. And the paperwork with that, I mean, just, let me move on. If you could travel anywhere in the world, all expenses paid, where in the world would you go? I want to go to Machu Picchu. I think that would be so, I don't know why, but I've been fascinated by that forever. And I also want to see the monarchs in hibernation, or it's not full-on hibernation, but you know, the monarchs in Mexico. And I've found out that they also hibernate in Southern California. So I think we're going to do that. Although if it was paid, you know, for me, I would definitely go to Mexico. But I think California is more economical for that. Jane Petrie. Oh, another, if you could travel anywhere, where would you go? So Machu Picchu, and to see the monarchs, and you know, all the 50 US states. I said that in a recent video. And you know, over to the UK to see the booktubers there. I said that in a recent video. And Norway, I said that in another video. So yeah, man, if somebody paid me to travel, that would be so awesome. I love culture. I love people. Yeah. Azalea Lopez, if you could choose any job in the world, would you still teach? Probably not at this point, and not because I don't love teaching, and I love my job, but just for change, I would be interested in being a high school librarian, maybe. Again, the high school librarian's role has changed drastically in recent years, so they don't get to, you know, be the lovers of books as much anymore. It's more technology coaching. So maybe, yes, I would still stay in teaching, actually. Anyway. But I would definitely stay in education, because I just really love kids, and I really love vacations. I don't think I have the personality type to work 5 days a week, have 50 weeks a year. I really like my time off, so I do. I'm not going to deny it. Fantasy and fiction. What books do you consider guilty pleasures? There was a recent discussion about guilty pleasures online, and yeah, it's funny. I think here in the States, it's just a euphemism for escapist literature, which, you know, you shouldn't feel guilty about wanting to escape, obviously, for just a little while, entertain yourself. So when I want escapist literature, guilty pleasures, I turn to like fantasy, especially YA fantasy. I used to read a lot of like Regency romance, I think it's called, when Gabriel was small. Like, I didn't read much, but every once in a while I would grab 3 or 4 of those and rip through them. And anything like general fiction that's fast-paced, Like, I just picked up Crazy Rich Asians. I'm reading that, and it's just so fun. So, yeah. Beth Kime, who are some of your favorite characters? I think the strong female protagonists, the young ones, like Scout, obviously, from To Kill a Mockingbird, Hermione. I really liked the girl in Clay Girl that I read recently. Stuff like that. Amy Davis, how old are your kitties, and do you have any other hobbies besides reading? I mentioned the kitties in a previous video, so I won't get into that. And other hobbies, yes, I have a previous YouTube channel, and I was heavy duty into scrapbooking for 15 years, I guess. I worked in the industry, and I used to be really aggressive about it, you know, getting in magazines and working for companies, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Same community thing, and just a little more competitive. And then recently I transitioned more into the planner community, bullet journaling, and all the different types of planners and journaling and stuff. So kind of taking a break from that, because after 15 years it's just nice to do something a little different. Jacqueline Smith, well, and I should say I do a lot of other crafting from time to time, crochet and things, just random stuff, and nature photography. I really love nature photography, which I didn't do much of that last summer, but I think I'm wanting to do that again this coming summer. Anyway, Jacqueline Smith, top 5 books of all time. I don't know. I'm not going to overanalyze this, and these would, like, To Kill a Mockingbird is always #1, period. There it is again. That comes up so often. And just randomly, a few that I think of quickly. A Prayer for Owen Meany is a stunner. Tolkien, I love him. So The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's 5 books. I didn't think about this ahead of time, so I'm just, my mind is drawing a blank. So I'm just gonna stop there. Sorry. And the last one is Ani. What book hooked you as a child and made you into a voracious reader? Probably a lot of them. I'm gonna go with The Black Stallion, because I was consumed by The Black Stallion when I was a child. Absolutely consumed. I would reenact the races on the little dirt road between my house and my older brother's house. Yeah. And, you know, I would get them from the library, and I would save my change, and whenever we'd go to the mall, I'd be able to buy a new one at the bookstore. So I love The Black Stallion. And she also says, how do you make your videos? This is a great question. Maybe I will save it for another video, because I'm already at 1340 and it's ticking. So yeah, I'm gonna save that last question and just make a quickie video to explain my super simple process. Yeah, it's a good idea. Thanks for the question. So I will chat with you again soon. Bye.